Hello everyone, it is so good to see you. Welcome to another GBG discussion. Today we're here to talk about Trails in the Sky. Yes, we are finally talking about trails on this channel. We're going to have a proper full spoiler discussion. We'll let you know when we get to the spoilers segments later on. But to help me discuss this, because no one on the crew has actually beaten the Trails game, I needed to recruit some help. And so I invited a fellow newbie of the Trails series and also a veteran. So first up, we have Mags. Welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Mags. I'm also known as AvengerMags on Twitter and Bluesky, where I tweet about the Trail series a lot. And I write about JRPGs and the Trail series in Nintendo Force Magazine, which is a lovely magazine about all things Nintendo. And then I also talk about JRPGs on a weekly podcast called Level Up Legacy. So that's a little bit about what I do here on the internet, but also a longtime Trails series fan. I started the series in, I believe, 2019. I actually started with Trails of Cold Steel. And so that, after playing those games, just kind of really got hooked into it and have been playing them ever since. So super happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us here today. Next we have Sarah. Welcome as well. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Sarah Key, and I got started with gaming with Kingdom Hearts. It's my favorite series ever, which then led me into getting into JRPGs. I stream on Twitch and I make YouTube videos, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you both so much for joining me here today for a Trails discussion, because this is a series that I've had a lot of people knocking on my door saying, I think you should really try this series. I think you'll really enjoy this. You enjoyed the Tales of series so much. I think this is something that will line up with a lot of what you find and value in JRPGs, especially because I'm a big JRPG guys. I know some of us here also are. So
Yes.
So to start off, Sarah, since we're in this similar situation, what was it that got you interested in giving the Trail series a try?
It was definitely the demo. I had actually planned on playing Trails for a couple years now, honestly. What made me hesitant was how many games that there were. So I would just always get kind of anxious. I'm like, that is such a commitment. Like, I know that people say that they're some of the best JRPGs. So when the demo came out for the remake, I was like, it's just a demo. Like, I could just try it, see how I feel. And then I played the demo and I loved it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to play the whole game. And then I fell in love. So, yep.
And that demo went on for hours. I was like, I don't know if you played the Dragon Quest 11, that demo. That's also like a 10-hour demo. Like, a lot of the first segment of the game was that. And I have not played a demo that long until Trails. And so that really got me hooked. Me and Derek were both very much hooked at that point. And so I was like, do I have to wait 3 weeks to actually play the rest of it? Please, can I just continue now? Because it just looks so lovely.
Right.
And Mags, you've been with this series a lot longer than either of us, so we'll be focusing mostly on first chapter for this discussion.
Sure.
But first, what was it that attracted you to the series, and what has kept you a fan after all these years?
Sure. So I remember several years ago, I actually played the original Persona 5, like vanilla, before Royal was out. And I loved that experience so much that after I finished it, I was Googling like games like Persona 5, just to try to find something that was a little bit similar. And whatever article popped up, Trails of Cold Steel was in that story. And so I kind of read a little synopsis of it and was like, oh, this sounds really cool. I didn't know much about the series at all at that point, but the cool thing was it was around the time that Xseed had ported Trails of Cold Steel and Trails of Cold Steel 2 to PlayStation 4. Because initially those games had released on PS3 and Vita, and so they weren't available on super modern platforms. And so once it hit PS4, I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'll get these. I'll try it out. We'll see how it goes. And it blew me away. Honestly, and I didn't even really know at that time that there were other Trails games, like Trails in the Sky or Trails from Zero, because a few of them hadn't been localized yet. And the Sky games weren't super accessible just because they were only on like PSP and PC at that time, like the originals. So I played through all the Trails of Cold Steel games and absolutely loved them. I think what really kept me invested was that they are interconnected stories, and you can see the growth of the characters just as you go on, and I thought that was so cool. And I also just really loved the lore and just how everything just feels like it has like a detail and purpose within the story itself. And I fell in love with pretty much all of it, and so that's what's kept me invested. I went back after I played Trails of Cold Steel 1 through 4. I played the Sky games. It's actually why I got like a gaming PC, which is crazy because it doesn't take a lot to run them at all, at least the originals. But I did that, and then of course the Crossbill games got localized. I played those, and then I ended up just playing the rest to get caught up to where we are now. And so yeah, here I am.
Yeah, that's so interesting because the original Trails in the Sky, that game, I don't know why it's in my Steam library, and I don't know how it ended up in there. And I remember I played it for like an hour or two way back then, and when the demo had come out, I did a comparison video for like lining up the scenes for the first game and for the remake, and going back again to play that, it's such a different experience playing that one. Like the gameplay in battle especially, like the battles play so differently to other games. I don't know why I dropped it. I don't know why I dropped it at that point, but now this game comes back, and I'm like, maybe I should do what Sarah did and just do the original at this point, just to kind of do a side-by-side comparison. But what did you think of the demo? Like what is it pretty much in line with how the series is modernized now, essentially, just for the first game?
Yes, so Falcom released Trails Through Daybreak, I believe in 2021 in Japan, and then it came west a little bit later, but that was the first game that they introduced kind of the hybrid combat system and the new engine, which Trails in the Sky First Chapter Remake, it features both of those things. So before Trails Through Daybreak, most of the combat was just strictly turn-based. And now it's kind of more of the hybrid system that we see, where you can kind of like beat up enemies in the field pretty quickly. It feels smooth. You can do your like kind of charged up attacks, but you can get through those like smaller, weaker enemies more quickly, and then focus on the turn-based segments for the boss fights and the more difficult ones, which I think is just such an amazing system because I feel like it respects your time. In the older Trails games, every like combat was turn-based, and so it could take a while. Like that time adds up. So the remake really features a lot of the more modern elements that Falcom has implemented for the past, I guess, 3 or 4 years, where you have the hybrid combat system, you have this really like pretty engine that allows for some just beautiful like cutscenes and animation. Like the older Trails games don't really have that either, but since they have those tools, I'm so happy that they were able to implement those in Sky, because I do think it's the most beautiful game that they've made so far, just with the engine and with the technology that they're using. But yeah, so it does incorporate some more modern elements, but at the same time, the story, the characters, and the foundation of it all is very much the same from the original. So they kind of like merged it to create this like perfect remake experience, in my opinion.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, it was this most recent PAX West in Seattle. I was there, and I was in the Nihon Falcon booth, and they actually had a demo for Trails Into the Horizon. Is that the most recent one that's coming out?
So yeah, so Trails Beyond the Horizon it's NIS America's publishing it, and it's coming out in January. So it's like the next one in the long line of games that there is.
We were demoing a bunch of games that they had available, and that was one of them. And it felt like a sin to play that after just playing the demo. Only the demo I had context. So they mentioned one person's name that I knew. I was like, oh, I know that character from there. And then there's like a whole... At some point, like a trio of 3 characters came out. And I'm like, these are legacy characters. These are absolutely characters from previous games. I recognize Altina showed up from I know she's really popular.
She is, yes.
I did an interview with her voice actor is Anthony Nguyen a couple of years ago because we worked with
Yeah.
EmblemCon, and in the chat, in the Fire Emblem chat, they're like, Altina, it's Altina. It's just, it just shows how beloved that these characters are. But for you, Sarah, how was it comparing the original to the remake one? Like, do you feel like these two both have different things they can offer to you, or do you feel like one replaces the other for like the remake, for example?
I actually, like, I was hesitant about starting SC after finishing the remake, just because I wasn't sure if I would like the older style, and that's why I decided to play FC, the original. And I kind of started it thinking like, oh, maybe I'll just like play this off stream in my spare time, and then I don't know why I just like had so much fun playing the original as well, because it's like similar and different enough at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. It was like it was really fun to go back and like pick up on some foreshadowing that maybe I missed when I played the remake. And then it was also just like being able to compare, and people always kind of bring up like the localization and stuff, so being able to see some of those little differences in the like dialogue was really cool. I also just love the vibes of the original. Like, it's just really, really cozy. Like, I still think I like the remake just a little bit more, but only like a small amount. I feel like they both do something really, really special in their own way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they really seem to just take a lot of care to preserve that feel, because playing through the intro of both games very recently, they really capture like that really homely vibe. You're just in a house with your family basically, and
Yeah.
you're just in a little place. It's very like slice of life for a long time in there, and I really appreciate that kind of feel for it before things go down in later chapters. But yeah, talking more specifically on the game at this point, like, what would you say, compared to other JRPGs that you've played, Sarah, what do you really enjoy that Trails does in comparison? Like, what do you like most about this game at a glance?
I think it is the characters. Well, it's like a mixture of things for sure. Obviously they do world building really, really well. Like, I just feel so immersed. It's interesting because it is kind of like a slower JRPG, like less stakes than other JRPGs I've played. Like, you know, it's not like, oh, we gotta go kill God. But it's just, I don't know, there's something very special about it. The vibes. I love the music. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I do also like that it's going to be like a continuous series. I feel like that's so rare with JRPGs, and that's part of why I love Kingdom Hearts, is because it's just continuing. Like, it's the same characters and universe. I mean, characters change, but like it's the same universe. And I just felt really, really connected to the characters in Sky, and I really also liked how like the cast, like the characters that go in your party, like they'll be in your party for one chapter, and then another chapter you have other party members. It feels very realistic, like that they're kind of going off and doing their own thing, and then they might come back. I don't know. I just think the game is really special. It's hard to pinpoint like exactly one thing, but it really just caters to my interests in a game.
Yeah, that's something I really notice as well. Like, compared to other JRPGs, usually you meet a party member and then they make some kind of reason to just stick with you for the entire journey. And I wasn't
Right,
sure.
yeah.
I wasn't sure how I felt about that, because like, what if I want to keep using Olivier and his dumb quirks throughout the entire game, huh?
Love Olivier. What
Right.
a guy. What a guy.
I'm just like, were you sad that we had to leave Olivier and Shara by the next chapter, or was it like, I'm ready to move on to this next arc of the story, which is pretty much how the chapters are laid out?
I was at first, but I also I was a little iffy about Olivier at first, if I'm being honest. I really love him, but like I found like some of the stuff he said was a little creepy, like towards Joshua.
Yeah.
But then he definitely grew on me. But yeah, normally in games I do get attached to characters and like their play styles and don't want to like move on or like let them leave. But I feel like it was done very well, and I was pretty much okay with it. Yeah.
Matt Mercer sells that character so well.
I know, it's so good.
Living his best life, because I think he loves to play bards in D&D as well, and so he gets to play a bard as Olivier. Like, what could be better? So.
Yeah.
There's that critical role experience bleeding out to his actual voice acting roles. It's so good to see.
Yeah, I think, and he's played Olivier since, like, I think Cold Steel. I think Troy Baker actually voiced him in the originals, if I'm remembering that correctly.
Oh, really?
I think you're right.
Yeah, but Matt Mercer took over, I believe, in Trails of Cold Steel, and so yeah, he's just always done a great job with his character.
Yeah, there's so much about these characters that I enjoy just kind of experiencing and seeing as we go through. Like, you do see that kind of character growth, even from our main character. We haven't even talked about, like, our main protagonists, Joshua and Estelle. Like,
right there they are.
It's yeah, I saw back there too. You got
So
a lot
cute.
you got a lot of cool stuff. You got the Xenoblade posters. You got the Trails figures.
Yeah.
I noticed
Big
that.
fan.
I love Xenoblade.
Same.
Me too.
Same.
Yeah.
I almost brought up Xenoblade talking about like continuity between stories, but that one is like a unique style of it. Whereas here it's like we're not talking about like the creation of worlds and other planes of existence or anything. It's just a group of people that are trying to exist in one world. And I appreciate how down to earth it is. Like, of course, there's like terminology that this world has that has like the use of magic in their own certain way, which I like how it's contextual. Like, they actually have it in their hands when they're casting a spell in battle. But yeah, I think it's just those characters that really drive it home. And I noticed like a lot of the characters that we see here, they do have the same voice from the actual original title. Like, they hardly speak in battle. But you have like Johnny on Bosch for Joshua. You have the as we mentioned, Matt Mercer for Olivier. But yeah, there's gosh,
Travis Willingham. I'm like a huge Roy Mustang fan, so I was so excited.
Yeah, he killed it in that role too. I'm excited to hear him in the next one. Just knowing what's next. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't know what's next. I'm the one that doesn't know anything about second chapter here.
It's gonna be so good.
I know some. I started second chapter, but
Yeah.
I'm only like I think like a third probably through it.
Okay. Yeah. It's gonna be so good. I can't wait for you guys to play it.
I might have to jump in on that sooner than I think at this point because but there's so many things coming out. It's crazy.
I know. It's a wild time, and even early 2026 is already filling up. So I don't know.
I'm just never gonna get to it. By the time that this next chapter comes out, I'm just gonna have another like dozen games in my backlog at that point.
Yeah.
There's one thing about the series that, if I had to say something that bothers me, it's when we're in cutscenes. I don't know if this is true for other future titles, more of the modern titles as well. Some of the cutscenes are half voiced, and I'm confused as to why that is. Like there'll be some will talk, and then when an important character walks in, you'll hear them suddenly talking, and then Joshua and Estelle still won't be speaking. Is that just a trend in the Trail series?
Unfortunately, it is, and I think it's due to budget from Falcom. I think that it's the same with the Japanese voice acting as well, and so typically the English dub will follow the pattern of the Japanese dub in terms of like when someone speaks and then when it's just text without voice. And so Falcom typically brings on some pretty talented Japanese voice actors, and so I don't believe they have like enough funds to really fuel that much in terms of voice lines, because also these games just have so much text. So I think that is a challenge for them. They are a smaller company, and so I think for them it's just trying to balance out their financial like budget for these games. And I can understand it being jarring, especially in like those very like dramatic scenes where you feel like, wow, everyone should really be talking right now. Like, why is one person talking and one person not? But unfortunately, that is kind of how it's been since the games received voice acting. I will say, NIS America, who has published several Trails games, they did actually add some more English voice lines to Trails into Reverie, which was really cool. So there are more voice lines in that game versus the Japanese version. And hopefully, they would continue to do that. But unfortunately, I think it's just a limitation from Falcom. And so whoever is handling the English version just tries to follow that. And that's why we get some of those awkward moments.
I see. Yeah. Because when you have names like Johnny Young Bosch, Stephanie Shea, as we mentioned some other ones already, like they're not cheap. They're not cheap to get these legacy voice actors that have been doing work for decades now to voice this much in a JRPG, and now continuing onward with the rest of the series. Oh.
Yeah, and in Japan too, I know that voice actors are held in really high regard, and so when you really go out and find like the good ones that have been in it for a long time, I think it can be pretty costly, and they should be fairly compensated, obviously. But I think it's just a restriction from Falcom because they are a smaller company, and I think in a lot of ways what they can do, despite their size and financials, it's really impressive. But that is kind of a limitation that's pretty obvious when you're playing the game.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, them voicing these characters, it gives them so much life. Like I appreciate every time we do hear them speaking, because you even see them as they grow throughout the story too. Like especially a character like Joshua, who kind of like tries to find his meaning, his worth, and the struggle to like communicate with Estelle in certain situations. For both of you, I'll start with Sarah. Who are some of your favorite characters in Trails in the Sky first chapter?
That is such a hard question because the whole cast is like peak. Which
I
is
know,
part
right?
of why I love the game.
They're so good. They're all so good.
Yeah. I think like it's such a basic answer, but definitely Estelle and Joshua are like my favorites. Like I love their dynamic. And I really like Joshua because I did feel like I related to him a lot. So maybe Joshua, but now that I'm playing SC, it probably is Estelle. I don't know. It's hard. But Olivier is very funny. I love the singing scenes so much. They're so good. And like with the voice mod in the original, I'm able to play with the Japanese voices, and that is just so good with the singing. Oh my god. But yeah, I don't know. I like everyone.
That's valid. I mean, the whole party is. I love just interacting with this whole party, especially when they do finally start to cross each other.
Yeah. I did forget to mention, and this is ridiculous, but I was like for some reason absolutely obsessed with Alba until the end. Because I didn't know things. I didn't know. I was obsessed with him because in the remake, for some reason, they made him kind of handsome. I don't know.
I can see it.
Yeah. I had like a weird obsession with him throughout the game, so I feel like I should probably mention that because that was kind of like a highlight of my playthrough.
That's amazing. I don't think I've ever heard anyone like talk about that with him, but that is so funny. I love it.
This is really...
But also, I'm sorry.
This is, we'll definitely get to that soon. That's interesting to hear because like my group is joking that this is anime me because my last name is Alba. So
I didn't even put that together.
That's so funny.
Me. With the slick backed hair, I wear glasses sometimes.
Oh, you just need the little tiny glasses.
I need the glasses on and just to
with
have
the
my
glare,
eyes closed at all times
like...
and just chat like this the whole time, and we'll be good.
That's amazing. I don't know how I didn't notice that. Wow.
Oh man, yeah. But since I don't think Alba's on your list, Mags, who are some of your favorite characters?
Yeah, since I played the OG, I was just like, buddy, I know you. But Estelle is probably my favorite most of all. And honestly, even after playing all of the Trails games that have been out so far, at least in the West, she's still probably like at the very top of my list. I just love her journey. And I'm speaking to that, I think, because I've seen what happens with her in SC. The second chapter, I think some folks like look at Estelle's journey in first chapter and they're like, she's cool, but like she's so naive, like she doesn't know what's going on, like Joshua's helping her so much, and I think that's true, but I think that it really sets the stage for her to have this really amazing arc like throughout the entire Trails in the Sky trilogy. So I love her. I just think that she's a ray of sunshine. I think that she has this like just way about her that allows her to connect to people and show that like she really cares about them. And I just think that is such a wonderful quality in a hero. Like, she doesn't have to be the strongest character, she doesn't have to be the smartest character, but like you can tell that she cares about the people around her. She cares about her home, and that's what makes people want to join up with her and follow her. And I just love that about Estelle. And she's just also so funny. Her lines and like her just delivery and how she carries herself, like, she cracks me up, especially with that scene where like she hits Olivier into the bar and in Grancel, like that's such a great one. But love Estelle. I'd also just like to give props to Chloe. I think she's wonderful. Especially because her friendship with Estelle, you sort of see the beginnings of it in first chapter, and we'll see more in the next game, but they just have such a sweet female friendship. And I just love to see that portrayed in a JRPG. I feel like that's not always something that we get to see. We get to see a lot of male friendships in JRPGs a lot of the time, and that's wonderful. I'm glad that we have great examples of that, but I just love to see them grow together just as a sweet, like, pair of friends who are very different but find commonality in each other and really support each other as they go. And then the last shout out I'll have is for Zen. Because I don't feel like he gets talked about a ton, but I just love this guy. I love playing him in combat. I think he's an amazing tank, gameplay wise, but he's also just one of those like just good, dependable guys. Like, there's nothing sketchy about him. He's just good. You can count on him. He's just very dependable, and I just like those characters. It's just like, you know what you see is what you get, and I like Zen for that reason too. So
yeah, I think unfortunately, being like the last party member that comes into the story, he ends up getting kind of overshadowed by even characters like Agate and other characters like that, which leave a strong impression like throughout the story. Like, there's always that kind of character that like, are you gonna stick with me? Are you gonna leave now? Like, he kind of just really whirlwinds in through multiple chapters and kind of helps exemplify the fact that you're not gonna have the full like party at all times. You have to kind of deal with the story, and I think it flows naturally like that. Like, it's more natural that people just kind of come and go doing their own things in the background.
For sure.
But yeah, I think for me, Chloe as well is probably my favorite. Just a very, I guess I'm just pulling for those like really sweet characters, honestly, and just to see how she's very modest, she's very kind. You already mentioned all the best points, basically having that kind of friendship with Estelle, and being able to show off like, yeah, you can do female friendships in a tasteful way and not have it be always centered somewhere around a male character. Like, I feel like that's a lot of stuff that happens with these sort of relationships. Like, they have to center it around a male. And of course they talk about like Joshua and whatnot, but throughout the story, it is about their friendship and learning more about Chloe as we go along. Because I think I was kind of not seeing that coming, and I feel kind of dumb for it after the fact.
Oh no.
But I have to shout out the theater scene with these characters. Absolutely. So they love to put that boy Joshua in a dress in this game, more than one occasion. Heart. Just kind of go with it too.
Yeah.
But the whole cross-dressing theater scenes where anytime a game has like a theater or an opera scene or something akin to that, it's always something special.
Yeah, I agree.
With all that being said, Falcom, they had their financial report not too long ago, and they had actually announced that second chapter is going to be coming in September of 2026, I believe. That's their estimated time as of right now. And if you had played the end of Trails in the Sky first chapter, you kind of already knew that was coming. Like, it kind of just up in front tells you, by the way, we've already done some stuff with this, so look out for it. So I guess at this point, is there any other like part of the story that you want to bring up that was like really impactful to you before we go to like the actual spoiler like ending of first chapter for either of you?
The fishing scene. Well, like for me, like when I first played it in the remake, it was like, oh, this is a nice moment. But when I replayed it in the original and I was able to kind of like pick up on some of the stuff that Joshua said and like their conversation, it just like hit so different. I love that scene a lot.
Oh, it was so good. I think it's kind of one of those first. I mean, I think with the remake, it's interesting because I felt like Estelle and Joshua's feelings, like the remake showed you more of their feelings, but the original told you more of their feelings, right? Because like it kind of had to with the way that they designed the game back in 2004. They weren't able to have kind of cutscenes like that. Yeah. So it's interesting that you can kind of see their story and relationship develop in like almost two different ways. Yes. Through the original and then through the remake itself. And so yeah, I felt like in that scene and then in some of the scenes in the remake, it's just like, oh yeah, like Joshua is definitely like crushing on her. Like I felt like it was a little more obvious, but I know also reading it in the original is special because you can kind of, you get a bit more told and then you can kind of file that away for later and like where is this going to come up again? And then it does and you're like, oh. So Falcom is very good at like, in a lot of their games, really in every Trails game, they're really good at like giving you kind of subtle hints as to what's to come, but until you really like replay the game, you don't always see it. So
yes, I love
they're masters at that. Me too. Yeah, it's so good to pick up on it after you've played it once and you can really see the care that they put into it. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that kind of storytelling. With JRPGs do that so well. Like I love it when it happens in a game like Persona, for example. Like you'll see something will be inferred way early on, and then like hours later, it actually means something. Or you'll play the game over again. Like for the Tales series is they really encourage you to do new game pluses with the Tales series, and so I picked up a lot of things that are early on. Like as early as Tales of Symphonia, there's a lot of hints early on for the characters in that you see later on, that on a second playthrough you're like, oh wow, this was such a throwaway line, but it actually has some underlying meaning, and I can see how Trails does that as well. Interesting. Oh, thank goodness. I know I know I asked the right people to join me when we talk about Trails. We have plenty of games in common to talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
For that in particular, I'm just so enamored by the world of this game, to see the characters, to see everything here. After everyone has been telling me about this, I'm just like, oh, I get it now. I'm seeing the vision. I'm finally getting involved into this series a lot more than I ever hoped I would be. So, and I guess going off of that, for anyone that doesn't want to be spoiled on first chapter, if you're just getting into the series as well, I'll put a mark here somewhere that tells you when to skip to the time when we'll get to the end of our conversation. But discussing the actual, like towards the end of the game, I guess before I actually mentioned the ending related to that, I'm surprised that I noticed throughout this entire game, nobody actually died on screen. Like everyone kind of lived and survived, honestly. Like I guess there's some background characters, but some characters that probably should have died, they didn't die. And I'm just like, damn, how did they pull this off? I guess this kind of just shows the realism of the world. Like you don't just kill someone that has been like outright major characters, rather, not like a standard grunt or something. But
yeah, that's an interesting point. I will say, I think that in this sense, like you're fighting as bracers, and so they don't typically do that. Like, I think their role is to really be a peacekeeping organization within the world, and so for them, like that's not a route that they take. And so I think it kind of falls into like what they do and like why they do it, and so they're more about stopping a threat but non-lethally, I guess, if that makes sense. It kind of fits into their role into the world. But I'll also say that like in the Trail series in general, characters don't really die a lot. It's just not really a theme that Falcom uses. I think they typically like to keep characters around.
Okay.
So
yeah, because
I won't say any more because I know y'all haven't played a lot of the other games, but it is kind of a recurring thing within the series.
Yeah, I'll ask you too, Sarah. Were you wondering how long Cassius was going to be around in this game? Were you just in the back of your head thinking, is he going to be okay? Are we going to find him actually?
I was very much where I was like, I've played so many JRPGs. I feel like this guy might not be alive.
Is he in danger?
Yeah, especially with like the way they set up him going missing and everything. I'm like, this is very suspicious. But I was pleasantly surprised with how they went about it and what the outcome was. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We can go right into it if you want to. Like the fact that he actually does come back in the nick of time, and your whole crew kind of comes together. Like that's the nice part, is that when you spend the whole game kind of all separated and you don't have a full party, when they do come together, it's like, oh, now we're towards the end now we're united in this cause, and they all have a reason to be there. Like the Queen's birthday was a very specific, like it was a nice focal point for all the characters to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna be gathering here. And so you're like, I kind of had a feeling like this was gonna be where the climax would happen. And and a lot went down. I just a quick aside, I felt like those 4 towers that we visited, that you go to, they all have the same design. You go to the very top, that's where you meet Alba for the first time on the first one, and I'm just like, there is something significant about this spot that we don't know yet, but they're here for a reason, and they're important to the story's lore. You're both nodding. I'm just like, yeah, this is something important that we'll probably touch on at some point later in the series, but they're not just there to be there. I'm sure that this is a series where everything has like some meaning to it. So
most definitely.
Yeah.
You're on the right track.
I'm especially with how, as we mentioned earlier with Alba, that was something that happened towards the end. What
a scene.
What were your thoughts? I'll start with you, Mags. What are your thoughts of Alba as a character? Like, I know I'm sorry we can't go beyond first chapter.
No, it's okay.
But
it's okay.
Within the context of this game, were you suspicious from early on, or did you kind of like, oh, he's a fine guy?
So I'd played the original first, so I already knew when I was playing the remake. I was like, this guy can't be trusted. Like, I know who you are, buddy. But when I was playing the original, I kind of thought he was a buffoon for a while. I was like, this guy, like, he's just like wandering around and like getting stuck in this tower and can't pay his bills. He like talks about how like he's just like, I'm just trying to stay here, I don't have a place to stay. And he's just, I think Falcom did that intentionally to make him not seem like a threat, so that when you do actually, when the mask comes off, you're like, whoa, like this guy is not who I expected. So I kind of thought he was a bit suspicious because he kept showing up and I didn't know why. But I didn't really see him as a huge threat until the game reveals that he's actually this really smart, evil guy who's been pulling the strings behind the scenes for a long time, and also is just very much intertwined with Joshua's past in some ways as well. And so when I was playing the remake, I was dreading that scene when Joshua is out waiting for Estelle to get the ice cream and he's left alone, and then all is just revealed. That was really hard, and honestly, in seeing it in 3D in the remake, like, it was even worse than I expected, because you heard the pain in the voice acting, and he looked so much more sinister too in 3D. Like, that whole scene, it was very well done. But yeah, I mean, I think like Falcom did their best to really try to make him seem like not a threat, and then when you find out he is, it's a really good twist. So
yeah, I mean, you feel bad for Joshua, because like you hear his voice cracking when he's just being talked down like this, like you're nothing, you're not gonna find any place in this world because of who you are, and Estelle is just gonna reject you when they find out who you are. And God, it's terrible, and you really feel that malice from Alba. We're saying that because I'm talking about myself. It feels like you feel that malice from this character when it's supposed to be such a nice setup right now, because everything is all peaceful now, and then he just comes out and just kind of ruins the mood. And so yeah, what were your feelings during that scene, Sarah?
Probably betrayal, right?
Oh yeah. I Personally, I did think there was something suspicious about him. Not necessarily like evil, though. I actually thought that he might be Joshua's father. And that, like, for some reason, Joshua couldn't remember. Because they had very similar hair, and eye color.
And the eyes,
so I'm
too,
like,
yeah.
I feel like this is his dad. So that's what I thought. So I was like, this guy is definitely more significant than he's letting on to be, because he's always at the towers, like, and he's always just showing up where we are. So I knew he was more important than the game was portraying him, but I didn't know that he was evil. And I was just constantly making jokes about him. Where's Alba? Alba, final boss. Like, just. And then that happens, and I'm like, oh my god. Okay. Well, that's concerning. Yeah, I was definitely shocked, though. It was that scene is just so impactful. And yeah.
Friendship over with Alba.
Oh man.
It's hard though, because I was obsessed with him for so long. Now I'm just like,
Just something about
know how to feel.
those dark, mysterious types that are actually bad inside, apparently.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
The game does such a good job at like introducing characters and just having them kind of come in and out, to the point where Alba just kind of sneaked in there in the shuffle, because you have like the other bandits. I love the bandit group. I forgot their names as well.
Right?
Oh no, the Sky Pirates.
Sky
Right?
Pirates.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The Capas. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
Yeah.
yes, Josette and Kyle and
I like them too.
their dad. Yeah.
Man, Josette had me there. Like, she's when the good girl actually has the bad side, I'm just like, oh god, this is it's that damn smile when she does the special attack, and then she then she turns back and looks at you with that smile. I'm just like, god damn it, I still like her, but she's evil. She's
She got you good.
and then she's just beefing with Estelle throughout the entire story. It's so
my gosh.
funny to see
Their
them.
rivalry is everything. I just love
funny.
it. Yeah.
It's like them. I love the news reporters as well. I relate so much to them as well.
They have my heart. As a former reporter, I'm just like, yes, like they're the Trail series in general. Like the journalists in all of the games are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like just to foreshadow that, like they are just all really great characters. So.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of these characters the side ones are so great too. The ones that kind of come in and out, and so that's why the ones you don't expect some of them to be bad or to have the kind of intentions that they do, because you're so focused in with everything else happening at the same time. It's such a realized world, to the point where I heard people saying how if you talk to NPCs at every point in the story, usually they'll have something else to say with what's happening contextually. It's not just like they have the stock dialogue throughout the entire game. I appreciate that they go through that kind of extra mile for this sort of thing. So
Yeah, that is one of the really special parts of the series, is that the NPCs kind of have all of their own little tiny stories going on in the background. And the nice thing about the remake is that it alerts you when they have new dialogue, because their little dot is a different color on the map. So you know, like, when they're going to say something new versus not. And in the original games, that wasn't the case. You just had to try to talk to them to find out. So if you ever, if you're crazy like me and want to talk to every single NPC every single time they have something new to say, you know when. So it's fun.
I definitely did that for a while. I wanted to know what they were up to, especially within the first city of Roland. I was just kind of talking to everybody after every little thing. That one little girl who's like just wanting to keep tabs on Estelle and Joshua and know their developments.
She's amazing. Yes. She's like Claire? A reporter in training. Like, she already knows everything.
Sorry, what was that, Sarah?
Was her name Claire? Is that her name?
Oh.
Is
that her name?
It's different with both versions of the game, isn't it? I think
I have a screenshot of her. I will look for it.
Oh, you
if I can find the name.
I'm trying to remember her name.
She's so cute too.
Yeah.
She's just like, and she always has she's very smart, and you're just like, wow, this girl, she knows her stuff.
She knows all. She's gonna be a great reporter when she grows up.
She sure is. Yes.
Yeah, even just within that first 10 of Roland's, like there's just so much to see and do. And we mentioned before the discussion, there's like a cat you gotta chase down, and this cat has you can catch them with her owner just kind of sleeping at a desk, and later on they run away.
Yes. Her name is Cruz. I found it.
Oh,
Cruz.
okay.
Her name's Cruz.
I don't know if I
Got
talked
it.
to that character then.
She's outside the bar in Roland. She's like the young girl, and she
Oh.
just kind of walks across, or just kind of around the bar, and she's always like, "Oh, I heard that you guys you passed your junior bracer exams." Like she always knows stuff that's happening.
I wonder if her name was different in the original then, because
It might have been, yeah,
I don't know though.
Most
yeah.
likely.
I could see it, but she's a spunky gal, so
Yeah.
I liked her too.
She was like, I don't know, interesting things will happen if you're like spending the whole adventure with one other person. And Estelle and Josh were like, what's this little girl, what's this sassy young child talking about? Like stop.
I think in the screenshot I have saved, she's like, "Oh, something's afoot, all right," and I was like, "Oh," she's just so funny.
From this little girl.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we went from talking about the ending to just trailing about other characters because that's just what this series is. There's so much, it's so character focused,
Yeah.
which I love. That we could try to focus on one thing and we'll go on talking about completely other group of characters. But the ending really did set up for more than I expected. That last encounter with Joshua and Estelle before the ending, I was like, what? Oh, the feels in that, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
What
yeah,
was
that'll break your heart.
Do you think, I guess you've seen both first chapter and the original and now in the remake, but for you, Sarah, like, was that captured with the same kind of emotion in that game compared to the original?
I think that there's pros and cons to both. Well, mostly pros for both, but like just some things that one does better than the other, I guess. I think that the dialogue is a little bit better in the original personally. I think it hits a little bit harder. Some of the quotes are just a little bit better in my opinion. But overall it's like pretty similar. And then of course like having the voice acting in the remake just makes it hit a little bit different in that regard. So they're both really good. I don't know, I cried to both. So yeah.
I agree. I think that the original did have some iconic lines. Like there's one specifically where Joshua says like, "My Estelle, you shine like the sun."
Yes.
And that wasn't in the remake.
I
It
know.
was still communicated well. I'm not gonna say it wasn't.
Yeah.
But Estelle has a nickname in the fandom as the sun. And it originates from that line because she is like a light to the people around her. And so in the original, that line is very special. And it also just kind of communicates how she is the light in Joshua's life. And in that moment in the ending, he doesn't think he's worthy of it.
Right.
And that's why he leaves and just kind of, leaves her there after she's poured out her heart. My goodness, like it is one heck of a scene. I don't know if there's a better ending than that. At least when it comes to like tragic endings of games, because you could kind of think like, oh, is a character gonna die? Oh, is like something like violent gonna happen? But that almost is worse because it's just pure heartbreak.
Yeah.
And you think like Estelle just is going into it thinking, I'm finally gonna tell Joshua how I feel. I'm gonna tell him I've like braced myself. I'm brave now and I can do it. And then just to have it all like pulled out from under her like that is just so tragic. But I think in both versions it's beautiful. I do agree that the dialogue, I think, or the words and the text is better in the original. But the remake, like being able to see the kiss and see like all of that and the animations and how like she kind of like falls to her knees and like seeing that in an animated like cutscene is also very powerful, and the voice acting as well adds to it. So it's just so heartbreaking but so good. And I think it's a testament to how much like you love Estelle and Joshua that when you see this you just can't help but hurt with them from both of their perspectives.
Yeah, because they're both in pain for sure in their own perspectives. Estelle, coming from the name Estrella, which does mean star, bright star. That's the whole foundation of her name. like the sun. So I'm not surprised the fandom calls her the sun as well.
Yeah.
So you really do see how like she has that kind of naivete throughout this story, but following something like this, I can't imagine how her character will change going into second chapter. Because throughout the story, I'm just like, Estelle's a cool character. Like I she's fine. I don't have anything against her. But you can also kind of hear in the voice acting, she does have that kind of young naiveness to her. So I'm very curious to see how that voice direction, how the story direction will take her going into second chapter, and when we do see Joshua again as well. So
yeah. And I think some of it comes from like going back to just kind of how she is a bit naive. I think Cassius like raising her without her mom, like after she loses her mom, contributes to that. Yeah. And so now she kind of has to stand on her own without Joshua and without Cassius. So in second chapter, she's really set up to grow a lot.
Yeah. A lot of room for growth.
I didn't expect to feel as many emotions as I did with a Trails game. Like when I say I'm gonna get into it, I have people telling me like, you better get ready. I'm just like, for what? It's just a threat.
What do I do?
But no, now I'm so invested. I'm here for the series. I do want to play. I don't know. Do I just play second chapter before waiting another 8 months for this to come out? I don't know.
That's so hard. I struggled with that so much. Like I had no idea what I was gonna do, but after finishing the original, I was like, okay, like I think it'll be fun because like I did remake, then original, and now I can do original and then remake, and then have that experience and see like how that is. Yeah, I don't know. You got to do whatever your heart tells you, but it was really hard for me to decide, so I get it.
Yeah,
that's a challenge for sure. I think playing the remake first might be a little tough to go back to the original's like style and gameplay, but it's certainly not bad at all in the original. It just might be a big shift. So if you do decide to do that, just keep that in mind. I think it'll be kind of a longer experience because combat's going to take more time, but you'll get the story payoff for sure.
I will say, combat for me was actually easier. But I think it's because I got addicted to farming the shining palms. And so like I was power leveling and like fast because the combat's really fast. And the boss fights and everything are much quicker if you're strong. But it is definitely like more manual, if that makes sense.
Yeah. A lot more reading. Like if you don't, because there's not really, I mean, there you can download a patch for the Japanese voice acting.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Which is great because then you can kind of hear those characters come to life. But it's just a bit of a different experience. Not bad by any means. It's amazing. It's just kind of, I think going from the remake to the original is a big change. So all I would say was just make sure you're ready if you're gonna do that.
I see. Might ask you all about that translation patch. Somewhere down the line, so I could get the proper experience for this title. Things like for the remake now, like a lot of games have this where you can speed up the battles, but Trails in the Sky first chapter has the entire high speed mode, which is crazy. Like everything is faster. The cutscenes, the game itself, the menus. I'm like the battles. Holy crap! I can't even focus on the battles because they're going so fast. I'm like missing all the quick actions and everything.
It's almost too fast, honestly. I think in some ways.
It's great for farming or for just getting from one place to another on foot. But yeah, it's I'm glad that's there because I definitely saved a lot of time using that, and I hope that other modern titles have that as well. Is there anything else you'd like to say about first chapter before we close out?
I think that if this is your first Trails game, welcome to the series. Welcome as a fan. It only gets better as far as the games, the story, the lore, and so I hope that you stick with it and enjoy the rest of the ride.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, well, thank you both so much for joining me here today. I really appreciate it. If you want to find these two somewhere on the internet, Mags, can you let us know where we can find you?
Yeah, you can find me at AvengerMags on Twitter and Bluesky. You can find me writing for Nintendo Force Magazine, which is a print and digital magazine that publishes every 2 months. And you can also find me talking about JRPGs on the Level Up Legacy podcast, which is on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We do a show every week just about different JRPG and gaming topics. We actually did a spoiler cast about Trails in the Sky as well, because we all recently finished it. So it's a great time, but that's where you can find me.
I knew I asked the right person to join us. And Sarah, where can we find you and everything that you do on the internet?
You can find me on Twitch and YouTube as Sarah Key, and then on pretty much everything else I'm Sarah Keyblade, except Bluesky. I think I'm just Sarah Key. Yeah, it's either Sarah Key or Sarah Keyblade. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
They'll find you.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you all for watching and joining us here today. If you want to see more from Trails in the future, let us know down below. We have more features, news, and discussions all coming up at all times. So we'll catch you around again very soon. All right, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Till we meet again.